is my privilege.
Without further ado,
And I am pleased to announce
It's my great pleasure to
Raise our glasses and give
So this year's winner.
this award
Club Woman this year.
Player of the Year.
Ladies' top goal scorer.
Badger Player of the Season is awarded to...
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Bristol and West Hockey Club Virtual Awards. Celebrating our club and the achievements of the Bristol and West men's, Bristol and West Jaspers women, Bristol and West Badgers, Bristol and West Vixens, and the Bristol and West under 12s. Let's get this party going. Whoa. As you know, the social committee had been in the final stages of organising what would have been a fantastic awards night with everybody there in person, which, given the season we'd had, I was particularly looking forward to, as I'm sure many of you were. But of course, a nasty little virus laid waste to those plans. To be perfectly honest, at that stage, I retreated into lockdown and presumed that that was probably it for the season. But of course, I reckon without the irrepressibility of our women, enthusiasm led by, at that stage, Les Ramsey, who called me up and told me about the idea, and that I better support it and do something. So first, thank you very much for Les for getting me out of my hibernation. All those involved in getting the project off the ground, and of course, ultimately, the whole army of people who've contributed to this evening. It's going to be fantastic. I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's going to be fantastic. So I'm not going to waffle on at this stage too long, but I must say a few words, of course, about last season. What an amazing season it was. I'm sure you'll all agree. At one stage, it seemed that it was going to be dominated by the success of our men's ones and twos, who, of course, ultimately went on to earn promotion. I've got a sneaky feeling we might hear a bit more about that as the evening goes on. But as it happened, the season turned out to be, so much more than that. The Bristol and West Jaspers ladies ones, of course, finished a very creditable second, just missing out on promotion. But by the time the season came to an early end, in mid-March or whenever it was, all of our teams were competitive in their leagues, which hadn't been the case for some at the beginning of the season. In my view, for every team to finish like that in the club, all 9, was no less of an achievement than our top place teams. So thank you for all the captains and the club captains for making this season such a memorable one. Not forgetting our juniors, they also performed very well, with our Badgers team finishing second. A fantastic result. The Vixens, in their first season, going from strength to strength, non-league season. With the Vixens, I've never seen so many happy and smiling faces in a single hockey team, starting with Han and Mim. Absolute joy. Thank you, ladies, for what you've done with that team. Our under-12s have also been very successful in their festivals that they've entered. And are now typically placed alongside the other top teams in the area. So there's real promise there for the future. A personal highlight for me this season has been how the club has been so transformed by the full merger with Jaspers. I've had the privilege of getting to know most of the ex-Jaspers players and the new ladies members that have joined this year when I was helping out Joe and Josh with training on Wednesdays, which was typically pelting down with rain. But anyway, as I've said before, I really think that our club is on the way to becoming a great family club, offering hockey at all levels increasing all the time, ages, and of course inclusive socials. And in that regard, there's 2 people I'd really like to pick out for special mention at this stage. And one is Leanne Pursley, who led the social committee, despite not playing hockey this year, but she organised some absolutely top events. And the second one is Smurf, for taking on the tricky task of women's club captain at a time when obviously huge amounts of tact and diplomacy was required to keep things together. Something Spurs got naturally in bucket loads anyway. So yeah, but thank you so much, both of you, for everything you've done this season. However, of course, there's still a lot of work to do to grow the club, particularly facilities. Facilities on the pitch, but also most particularly off the pitch. But continuing to improve the quality of everything that we do will be our ongoing focus in the committee, as hopefully we forge even greater success we can build on from this year. Finally, I must of course say thank you to all of our very hard-working committee for what they've achieved this year. Too many of them to mention individually, but what you do is incredibly appreciated. It's appreciated, the support you give me. Also, our non-playing volunteers, and of course our umpires, without whom we all know there'd been no hockey. So you are very much appreciated by everybody. So that's it from me for now. Enjoy the awards, and of course, good luck. And I hope that tonight will re-enthuse us, because I know it's been difficult over the summer being detached from hockey. So I hope this will really re-enthuse us for the coming season, which, fingers crossed, won't be too long to go now. So good luck again, and thank you very much, and enjoy the evening.
Evening everyone. I hope this message finds you first of all healthy, second of all happy, preferably with a drink in your hand, surrounded by however many people we're allowed to be surrounded by right now. So first season as Wasps, and I think it was a great success, and that is in no small part to the hard work of captains and vices for keeping talking, keeping positive, and keeping all of us positive, and for every player for keeping an open mind to knowing that yes, this season's going to be different, but different doesn't necessarily mean wrong. I have absolutely loved watching and playing with new people and learning from them. The ones had a fantastic season. In those last few games, I reckon that would have meant you got promotion. 2s and 3s definitely had it tougher. 2 brand new teams, 2 brand new mixes of people. But in the second half showed such a vast improvement that not playing those last few games really robbed us of seeing what we could achieve. So I'm really looking forward to next season and seeing what we can do. So cheers Wasps, here's to the award.
Hi everyone, just a quick message on behalf of all of the women's coaches to say a big thank you to all of the ladies for the hard work they've put in on and off the pitch this year. The results haven't always gone our way, but the players have never wavered in their determination to work hard to try and improve their hockey. Our attendance on a Wednesday has been consistently excellent throughout the season, which for the first season after the merger, it's been really nice to see the ladies wanting to come together and spend time with each other. The team spirit on a Saturday has just gone from strength to strength throughout the season, which was no more evident than when the 2s and 3s picked up their first points of the season. It's this positive team spirit and welcoming and inclusive environment that I think is really important for us to try and build to attract new players to play for Bristol and West Jaspers. A big well done to the first team as well, who had another amazingly successful season but were unlucky not to get promoted despite finishing in second place. Another sign of a successful club is where all players from all teams come together and support each other, so I just want to thank all of the men who helped out with the women's side this year, fellow coaches Josh, Andy and Dave, and Brian, who's been really supportive as well, RJ, Chris and Duncan, who have helped out several times with the goalkeepers this season, and Cy Barrett and Josh Tester who have come and helped as well. A big thanks to all of the junior coaches who are working hard each week to ensure that we have a really bright future for the club. Thanks to the umpires who not only have umpired the games but have also been able to give really helpful feedback to us as coaches in the games that we weren't able to watch. And thanks to all of those that have come and supported the women's matches this year, come along to their games early to cheer on the ladies. Thanks to you as well. Congratulations to everyone that's won an award tonight, and I'm really looking forward to the start of a new season and another positive and successful season with Bristol and West Jaspers.
all, Iggy here, captain of the men's sixes team. Great to be back to the club and to the game this year after nearly 3 years off following a knee operation, during which I thought I might not come back to the game at all. So really good to be back this season. When Rob asked me to captain the team early in the year, I thought, well, I've had a long-held ambition for us to play Masters hockey regularly throughout the season at a competitive level, more than just the usual cup games and friendlies that we get. And of course, no better time to do that than following the club's success last year in the HA Cup and the trip up to Lee Valley. So I was really pleased when the club agreed that we would form a sixes team based largely but not exclusively on players at a Masters level. So it was early in the season that we gathered the 40 pluses, or many of them from across the club, formed a squad of 18 players, supplemented by a few younger legs that have played in the centre of the pitch throughout the season. It's been great to see Ravi Soms back. He's been one of those younger players in the middle of the pitch. We've had Alex Jarvis as a regular in the centre, and some guest appearances throughout the season from Luke Berry, who played a few games for us following his return from injury. So it was great to help him back into fitness and back into his team. We've had Rob Williams come and play for us 3 times. Again, finding his feet back after some time out following his injury and operation. So brilliant to have a good mixture of players throughout the season. We finished a respectable 5th in the East Central 2 League, and it really has been fantastic to play with players and friends whom I haven't taken to or joined the pitch with for many years. It's been superb. The ethos of the team has been really consistent, quite frankly, with that of the club, which is to play good competitive hockey, to respect and support each other and the opposition on and off the pitch from the minute we arrive before the game to the time we leave the clubhouse at the end of it. It's been really great. The team spirit's been fantastic, and everyone's played their part in the team, both on and off the pitch. Probably exemplified no more so than some of the stats really for the season. They tell the story. We've had no fewer than 19 goal scorers during the season, 10 of whom have popped up to score just a single goal, but often a vital one. Nearly half of our games have finished. We finished within 1 goal or less of the opposition. There's been some very close games. If anything throughout the season, if I change anything, we definitely need to score more goals. We could do with 1 or 2 more goal scorers. Only 2 of us during the season scored more than 10. So that's one thing that we could certainly improve on for next year. But a terrific performance from everyone right across the squad. Throughout the year, man of the match, we've had 12 different man of the match players, one of whom didn't even set foot on the pitch during the game. Dave Gold, bless him, was out for a couple of weeks with injury, didn't feel able to commit to the team, but nonetheless, for a late afternoon away game all the way over at Chippenham, Dave turned up to support the team, dressed in full kit, ready to help us out if we really needed it to come onto the pitch. We only had 12 players, so brilliant support from Dave, and that just exemplifies the spirit of the team, and a worthy winner of man of the match without putting stick to ball. I think if you look through our season, we've had quite a number of contributions from a few different players from other squads, other teams, and that's been superb as well. The support we've had as the team at the foot of the club from the men's sides has been fantastic. Our player of the year, we had quite a few votes for player of the year. 6 or 7 different players could have got it, but one player stood out, and our player of the year is Mark Berry. No one has exemplified, what this team's about more than Mark through the year. He's been brilliant off the pitch, great support, great fun, and a real stalwart on it. Real hard for many opposition players to get round that left hand, that flat stick tackle that Mark's got, and he surprised quite a few players during the season. But he's been a really good platform for us as well on attack. So well done, Mark, on winning our well-deserved Player of the Year award this year. So overall, brilliant season. Next year, it'd be great if we could get a few more players, even though we had a squad of 18. When you get to the halfway point in the season, I think injuries and age-related wear and tear take their toll. So we could certainly do with a few more players in the squad next year. So it'd be great to see a few more of you come and support us if you can. I guess then for me, it's been a brilliant season. No better summed up, I guess, than in the words of our adopted motto for the year, which is win or lose, pride in a pint. So here's to next year. Fantastic season this year. See you next time.
Hello and welcome to the 15 end of season report for the 2019-2020 season. With the easing of lockdown, I've asked a few friends to come along and help me deliver this end of season report. So without further ado, we'll go back to the last AGM where it was revealed that the incumbent captain, Dave Morgan, would not be continuing his leadership of the 15 for this coming season. Whilst Rob, our club captain, may have had a bit of an anxious look on his face at the time, he stayed calm and, sure enough, just before the start of the season, Luke Williams stepped up to the plate to lead the Fives. The 15 faced a tough challenge with a wholesale change in lineup, losing the 4 young lads who'd played so well for the Fives the previous season up and gone on to the 3s, a couple of the experienced players to the 6s, with players coming up from last year's 6s to the 5s to play in a higher league. So it was a tough start, taking only 1 point from their first 4 games before getting our first win at the expense of the visiting team from Bridgewater. Throughout the season, Westbury proved to be a happy hunting ground for the 15, and possibly the highlight of the first half of the season was a win against Westbury D, who, after 6 games, were unbeaten and top of the table. But we had a great win against them. 2-0 was the final score. Unfortunately, during the Christmas break, Luke announced that he would have to give up hockey due to injury. To lose the captain halfway through the season was enough to make Rob turn to drink. However, calm resumed when Dave Morgan came forward to take over the reins yet again. Dave led the team to their best win of the season away at Westbury, winning 6-1 against their E team. Then, after just a couple of games, Dave dropped the bombshell, say that he too was to give up hockey with immediate effect. Rob took to the hard stuff, but fortunately calm resumed when I said that I would stand in and run the team for the last 6 games of the season. However, at this time, I was away at my winter training ground in Tenerife. So, for the first game after Dave's departure, Baby Bomb spread his arms wide and embraced the role of caretaker manager for the visit of Bridgewater. Then, when I returned, I can't say that I did a great job of leading the team, because it wasn't until the final game before the lockdown that we managed any further points. And that was again another win against Westbury. The 15 finished 9th, gaining 30% of the available points. Now for the 15 Player of the Year award. The votes were well spread, recognising the efforts of many players. Dan was probably the player who made the most appearances. Steve probably travelled the furthest distance from his home in Wiltshire to play for us. Ollie was the midfield dynamo. Graham provided the savvy of an experienced player. It was a great asset to the team as Ted was available. Newcomers Matt and Dario were great to have in the team, and Robbery was probably the player in the team who improved most over the course of the season. But the winner of this year's 15 Player Award goes to Joe Pring. Congratulations, Joe. Well done. Much appreciated. Cheers all.
Hi guys, so I don't think there's many people that don't know me, but for those that don't know me, I'm Hayley, 3rd team captain of the ladies, obviously a lady. Well, you know, you never know. So just to recap on the season, well, what a season. I think I should be known as Injury Girl. And it started off very turbulent, you know, a brand new team, new players, people back to hockey, people first time in hockey. And, you know, I think every week we went out and had a loss. And one thing I will say that I was really proud of is you never got disheartened. All the way through, you went from strength to strength. And come the end of it, you were probably the best team I've ever played for. It was very turbulent, but in the end you were all like a family, still are like a family, and we were going from strength to strength. We started to have the wins, we started to progress, we lost some players to the second team, which although is frustrating, is also brilliant, and it shows how much everybody was improving. So for me, thank you. It was unfortunate we ended on the way we did, but you know, those 2 games could have made a little bit difference, but we'll definitely go out next season with a bang, and I think we'll progress really, really well. So I'm going to introduce you to the team because some of you know them, some of you don't. Starting off at the front, we'll start with Alana. Alana started off the season playing outside right, and then she progressed up to a right forward. Now Alana is like a sneaky sly fox. She creeps up that right hand side, and sometimes people don't even know that she's there. Passes the ball beautifully into the middle for a finish, or she gets on the post herself and finishes it off really, really well. Alana also has progressed fabulously throughout the season. She's one of our youngest players in the 3rd team, and I've got a lot of hope for Alana. She's got a fabulous hockey brain, and she's going to push forward, and I know she's going to end up in the ones. Moving on to Antonia. Antonia is also forward. Antonia started off playing left forward, and again has progressed amazingly. She was very nervous when she started off the season. She's also like a graceful deer, making her way up the pitch, and has just improved immensely. I can't say enough about how much Antonia has improved. And again, it'll be interesting to see how she unfolds progressing forward in her hockey career. Then we've got Amy with a Y. Amy is like a wasp, constantly hassling people until she gets the ball. Once she discovered that she could be a little bit more hands-on, should I say, or once she turned around to me and said, "Is it a contact sport?" That was it. There was no stopping her. She was doing those sneaky little shoulder barges, you know, what you're not supposed to do, but she did, and she was winning the ball and doing really well. Then we go on to Claire, aka Dibbles, whichever you want to say. Claire started off up front, but she did a fabulous thing and took one for the team. As she could see, there were people that were really suited to those positions, and she dropped back into defence as right back. Claire has been an absolute solid defender for me in the back line. She's also been somebody that I've lent on quite a lot. Claire is like a kangaroo. She is constantly hopping around that pitch. You'll see her everywhere, but occasionally she does lose her footing and end up on her tail. Now we're moving on to Tegan. Tegan's got a real big place in my heart because she reminds me very much of myself when I was that age. Tegan started off playing as a half, but she found herself as a forward because she kept telling me that she wanted to play up front. So once I got her to understand that she needed to stay on the post, she then progressed really well. It probably took about 4 games, but eventually she realised that once she stayed on the post, what I was saying was making sense, and then she scored, and that was it. There was no stopping her. Tegan is like a lion. The reason she's like a lion is because she is not afraid of anything. She will face her prey. She will stand in front of a free hit, and she doesn't care what comes towards her. She's got the aggression to push forward, but she's also got the sense to know when to stop and that she's not going to get that prey. So again, Tegan is one to watch out for. She was new to the 13 coming up from the Vixens, also playing with the Vixens like Alana. And again, another one to look forward to see where she progresses with her career. Then we move on to Nat Turner. Nat Turner was new to the club this year, although you'd have thought she'd been there forever. Nat just fit in as a centre forward. She was a really good centre forward. Fabulous team spirit, doing Secret Santa, things like that for us, pushing it forward. And Nat you would compare to a giraffe. Very leggy and very gangly, but once she gets going, there's no stopping her. Now, what she had to be aware of was poachers, but unfortunately, Nat did get poached all the way to the second team. Boo. Then we move on to Shushu. Shushu, our little fabulous paramedic. Thank you very much for everything you do, Shushu. Shushu started off in defence where she wasn't really suited. She didn't really understand the game. She was new to hockey, but she then found herself in the midfield where there was no stopping her. Shushu was like a shark, always attacking her prey and never ever giving up on the kill, which was fabulous. Now we've got the fabulous Sammy. Now, Sammy didn't play until the second half of the season because she spent the first half of the season in Finland doing her nursing placement because she was at uni doing nursing. Again, thank you for everything that you've been doing in the current situation, Sammy, because I know you got called in early. So, although she wasn't here, Sammy was always like part of the team as soon as we started the season, constantly getting on WhatsApp and Facebook and following everything and answering everything. She is like a loyal Labrador, Sammy. There is nothing that she won't do for this team, nothing she won't do for the club to push things forward. As soon as Sammy came back, she started playing in goal for us because the second team was short of a keeper and Jess was going to move up and lots of things went on. So Sammy decided she would train in goal and try a completely new position. And my God, did she thrive in that position. Sammy's got a natural ability in that position. She is very hard on herself and always wants to achieve, but like I say, she is so loyal, and that was why I would compare Sammy to a Labrador. Now we're moving on to my number 2, my vice captain. So we come to the lovely Neve. Neve became vice captain I think about 4 or 5 weeks into the season because I couldn't figure out who I wanted, you know, me being awkward. And the reason Neve was picked is because she has got a clear hockey brain. She understands, she sees things, and I thought she would gel really well with me. So Neve started off in the midfield opposite Les, and she held that midfield up with Les really well, distributing the ball fabulously. Neve is like a collie dog, like a sheepdog, always knowing which way to take the flock. And again, also very loyal and knows how to run around and get the job done. Then we come on, last but no means least, we come on to the great wise old owl, which is Les. Les has been pivotal in the third team this season. The reason that she is wise, she's held up the team in the midfield. She's also nurtured new players in how to push them forward, and she has definitely been advising a very hot-headed captain at times. So I thank you very much, Les, for everything that you've done for me. So we're on to Jenny Hatz. Obviously Jenny didn't do the whole of the season because she had her beautiful little baby girl, but she was really good and available for us if and when she could be. Jenny I would compare to a cheetah because even after having her beautiful baby girl, she was still like lightning going up and down the pitch for us. Jenny played a few positions for us, mainly on the left hand side and mainly on the wing, but she did push up front for us and set up some fabulous goals for the girls, and I'm not sure, I'm maybe thinking that she did score a couple herself. So that is the beautiful Jenny Hatz.
Hi everybody, I'm Neve, the third team vice captain, for those of you who might not know me. I'm going to carry on straight off from Hayley, introducing you to the rest of our team this season. So the next person we want to talk about is Sally. She is fast like a mouse, moving in and out of space, creating opportunities for the ball to move up the pitch. Sally ended the season playing in the midfield, where she really found her rhythm. Next up we have Evie, who is a great defender, wise like tortoise, letting her opponents run around her like the hare and choosing her tackles wisely. Then we come to Hannah, who quickly found her feet in defence this season. Like a wolf, Hannah observes her opponents springing into action to win every ball that comes her way. And then we come to Hayley. Hayley uses both experience and strength to hold together the back line in her centre-back position. Like a bull, she is focused and determined on the pitch, but kind-hearted and supportive in her role as captain. Now we have Blanche. Like a dolphin, Blanche's characteristic call can be heard by everybody on the pitch. Confident and assertive, Blanche is a force to be reckoned with on the wing. Now we have Lucy, who came up from the Vixens this season and held her own in the Women's League. She plays up front and is skilled and fast like a puma. Lucy ran rings around the defenders. Now we have Molly, who joined the thirds in the second half of this season. She showed her adaptability playing both up front and in the midfield. Like a swallow, Molly dives into space and is swift on the ball. And finally, we have Jess. Jess embodies a team player. She stepped up to be the threes goalie at the start of this season, and her skills and confidence grew in leaps and bounds. Like a beaver, Jess worked hard to both reach her goals and support the team. So there we go. That's a roundup of everyone in the threes team this season. Okay, so now it is my great pleasure to announce the final two awards that are going to be presented to members of the third team. The first of which is the Women's Under-16s Player of the Year, which this year is awarded to Alana. Alana came up from the Vixens and immediately impressed, particularly with her stick skills. If you've ever seen a threes game, you'll have seen Alana weaving all the way up the pitch, usually slipping past 3 or 4 of the opposition. Alana clearly has had an amazing season with us in the threes, winning not only the Under-16s Player of the Year, but our threes Player of the Year as well. So huge congratulations to you, Alana.
Hi everyone, last season was a year of change for the men's fours team. We were significantly strengthened at the beginning of the season, however it took a while for the team to settle and me to find the right formation. Therefore, the results often didn't reflect the talent in the squad or the games that we played. We have scored and conceded the 4th and 3rd highest number of goals in the league respectively. Later in the season, the team's consistency improved. We found the right formation and had a few additions which solidified the midfield and defence. This meant the results improved as well, culminating in us beating 2 of the 4 highest placed teams in the league, with COVID denying us our chance to play the top of the league. Therefore, I feel confident for the coming season. Last season is best characterised by everyone playing their hearts out, constant drive to improve, and enjoying playing hockey. No one is more applicable to this than the fours player of the season, Ryan Johnson.
Hello, Rob Ledger, threes captain. This was the second season for the threes into Cymru in the Marches 2, alongside our twos. A tough division, and one in which we just escaped relegation at the end of last season, after putting together a strong finish. The team had gelled and started playing well together, so of course it would have been madness to significantly change the team this season. But that's what we did. Not only did we change the team, but we flooded it with 5 under-16s, 4 of whom had previously been playing for the fives 2 divisions lower. Ringing in my ears was Alan Hansen's quote that you'll never win anything with kids, when referring to the crop of youngsters that Manchester United introduced in the 1990s. For us, not Beckham, Giggs, Scholes and the 2 Neville brothers, but French, Galton, Berry, Goodwin and McManaman. We may not have won anything this season, but what a delight it was to watch the youngsters develop and perform at a high level. a resounding endorsement of the club's junior programme. Of course, it took several games for the team to gel and to work out the formation that best suited the players, but no relegation battle this year, and a much more comfortable season. The division was dominated by 3 teams, one of them being our twos. After heavy defeats against these 3 teams before Christmas, the second half of the season was a different matter. Our second game against the twos saw us leading midway through the second half before we eventually succumbed to their superior firepower. Our biggest achievement, however, was against the twos' main rival for promotion. Having lost 8-1 to Gloucester City before Christmas, we in the threes were the only people not surprised to beat them 3-2 in the return match, a true measure of the team's improvement over the course of the season. The added bonus was that this victory all but clinched promotion for the twos, returning the favour for the assistance received at the end of last season. We don't do goal of the season, but Luke Berry could have won it 3 times over, despite missing most of the first half of the season with a broken wrist. The power generated by someone so slight in build gives us all hope, and I can still picture the Cardiff and Met player rooted on the line as the ball sailed inches past his head into the net from another Berry volley. Of course, it wasn't all about the youngsters, and we have many quality players within the team for them to integrate with and learn from. A solid defence of Harrison, Webb and Manton, a mix of steel, work rate and creativity in midfield in Blackadder, Williams, Dent and Doe, and a pacey, skillful strike force of Wingent, Law, Silcox and Patton. We were very fortunate to have a top-class goalie in Duncan Elliott frequently performing heroics between the posts, and when Duncan wasn't available we had a built-in backup goalie in the form of Wayne Manton. Although Duncan polled several votes for Player of the Season, it wasn't enough to win, but I would like to present him with an award, the Benevolence Award, for giving away my face mask to the ladies team that had played in the match before our game at Lansdowne. Thank you, Duncan. Our Player of the Season dominated the Man of the Match nominations, and the rest of the team know just how important he is. His structure, energy and skill in midfield continue to be unparalleled. So winning the Threes Player of the Season for a second season in a row is Ross Williams. Well done, Ross.
Making friends, family and having fun.
Having lots of fun and keeping fit.
Friendship and fitness.
Having fun and a laugh with our lovely team.
Having a good time on and off the pitch.
Something to get out of bed for.
It's an opportunity to hang out with old friends and meet new ones.
Fun with friends, playing a sport I love.
Fun, fierce and family.
Keeping active.
Knees that are constantly grazed.
Hockey is all about having fun, keeping fit and meeting loads of great people.
Having a fun time on and off the pitch.
I play hockey for exercise, obviously. And why do we exercise? Yep. And there's generally a cider afterwards, and I think for my own mental health, if I didn't hit something really hard with a stick occasionally, it might all go wrong.
Hi everyone. This season has truly been a roller coaster of a ride for the ladies twos, so it's a good job I like roller coasters. At the start of the season, half of us had never played together before, so as well as finding our hockey feet after the summer break, we also had to get used to playing with different players and learning each other's strengths and styles of play. Thankfully, everyone had the positive attitude and enthusiasm needed to bring the team together as one, and the goal we set ourselves at the start of the season was to have fun. Of course, we're still a very competitive bunch, so losing games didn't get any easier as the season went on, but regardless of the scoreline, and there was only ever 1 or 2 goals in it, we could see the improvements that we were making both as individuals and as a whole team. And that's testament to the commitment that was shown to training and matches. Our very first point came in our final game before Christmas against our fierce adversaries, BAC. If you'd have seen the celebration, you'd have thought we'd won the entire league. I need to do a special shout out here to my other captain, Hayley, who kindly stepped up to play in goal for us in this game, and who unfortunately tore ligaments in both of her knees when going down to make a save. So Hayley, thank you for quite literally putting your body on the line, and maybe we'll keep you out of goal in the future. We had a tough start after the Christmas break as we faced most of the top of the table teams, but we didn't give up. Our first victory came at the end of February, better late than never, when we took 3 points from our other arch rivals, South Gloss, in a tense 1-0 match. Going into what was later to become our final game of the season at home against Westbury's Threes, it already felt like the season was coming to an end too soon, just as we were finding our winning form. We must have known subconsciously that our final showdown against BAC was going to be cancelled, as we left everything on the pitch in another nail-biter. With the game goalless and just 10 seconds remaining, we earned a short corner, and what happened next was a fitting finale to a hard-fought season, but we'll come back to that later. I'd like to end by saying a huge thank you to every single one of my players, as you've all shown determination, commitment and resilience, as well as bringing fun and laughter to the team as we've got to know each other. I can't wait to play with you all again next season. I'd like to pay special tribute to my vice-captain, Bernie, who has been my rock this season. Your input and support has been invaluable in my first season as captain, so thank you, and over to you.
Thanks, Ellie. I think that sums up the season very well for the twos. It has been a tough year, but also enjoyable watching the team bond and get into their stride. I would like to say a few quick thank yous. Firstly, thank you to the committee. Without your hard work, we wouldn't have a club. Particularly Les and Smurf, who were there for advice when needed. Thank you to all the umpires who gave up your time to let us play, and let's face it, that's not always an easy task. Thank you to the coaches that have spent time, listened and tried to ensure training meets the needs of all teams. My fellow vice-captains and captains, thank you. Hannah and Mish, you've done a great job with the ones this year and provided a level head when I needed advice and a pick-me-up when we were struggling. Hayley and Neve, thanks for always being there to talk through the games, and Hayley for always wanting to find the positives, even on the days when we both had tough games. I still can't open a voice note without first checking who's around and whether it's safe to open them, as you never quite knew what you were going to get, Hayley. Ellie, thanks for stepping up and captaining the twos. It was a tough season, but you didn't give up. You were willing to make some changes to benefit the team, and they started to go from strength to strength. I think your determination, positivity and perseverance paid off, and it shows in the results in the second half of the season. Lastly, thank you to the players this season. Thank you for bearing with us, being willing to try new things, providing important feedback in order to move forward as a team, and fighting hard week in, week out. Remember, the most important thing is we finish the season above BAC. I look forward to the day where we can get back on the pitch together. Go Wasps!
Thanks, Bernie. Now what you've all been waiting for, our player of the season. This goes to a player who has shown great commitment to training and matches, rearranging work shifts to be available to play on Saturdays. In the weeks when she was selected to play for the Ones, she would still make the effort to come along and support us from the sidelines. Her experience and confidence as a hockey player was instrumental in our team's development this season, particularly in our defensive line, where she was always in the right place at the right time. She also scored one of the best goals this season, unfortunately into the wrong net, and I don't think Bernie has fully forgiven her yet. It's my pleasure to give this well-deserved award to Shah Hathaway. Congratulations, Shah, and trophy to follow. Please can I now ask you all to raise an orange and a glass to Shah Hathaway and the Bristol and West Jaspers Ladies Twos for ending the season above BAC. And let me now take you back to the last 10 seconds of our 2019-20 season, with the game currently drawn at 0-0. Enjoy.
Promoted. You guys have worked so hard. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
we
just say thanks to Skip for helping us get promoted.
Come on, boys, give it to Ross. Let Ross take
Here we go. My first end of season do speech as captain. This wasn't exactly how I pitched it at the beginning of the season when I took over from Platty last year. What I imagined was standing up in front of the whole club in a swanky venue after spending the previous afternoon and early evening celebrating with my team over our amazingly successful season, reminiscing about the worst hat-trick that had been scored that season, the new nickname for Phil that made it into many more match reports than I'd realised, and debating just how many own goals little Ross had scored this season. But unfortunately, this is not what I'm experiencing now. Well, I've enjoyed a few beers. This year saw a new website launched, and Joe John asked me to write an introduction to the men's twos section. While reviewing the season as preparation in writing this speech, I decided to take a look and see how we fared against it. This is what I wrote. This is my first season as captain of the twos side, the team I have played for the last 2 seasons and loved every minute of it. This year we are focused on winning the league and stepping up to a level we should be playing at. We have a squad of hard-working, positive players who fight for each other on the pitch and have a laugh off it. The core values of the team are always be positive in everything you do, fight for your teammate and never give up. The twos are proud of the work rate they have put into a game, and I'm proud of the attitude they show every game. I'm really excited to get stuck into this season. It's going to be fun. And this season has lived up to it. It has been everything I hoped it would be. We didn't quite win the league, but we came second, we got promoted, we played positive hockey, we fought for each other, and most importantly, we had fun. So here is a summary in stats. I'd like to thank our team statistician, the 1-yard assassin Tom Varney, for all of this. So, biggest win, 12-0 against Cardiff Met C, longest winning streak, 6, win rate 81%, top goal scorer, Dan Lusmore, 43, best goal per game ratio, Dan Lusmore, 2.05. Most assists, Josh Tester, 29. Poorest discipline. This is a tie, depending on how you cut it. Dan Lusmore with 4 green, 1 yellow, or Tester with 1 green, 2 yellows. And Tester did push an old man into the back of net in somewhere in Wales. But I'll let you ask him about that. Average goals per game, 5.48. Most man of the matches, Andy Platt. Most dick of the days, Little Ross, and you can probably thank RJ for that one, Ross. Scored more goals than anyone else in the league, 115. Nearest rivals was Stroud with 104. This, I would expect, will be Mr. Varney's favourite. 4 P-flicks taken, only 1 scored. I'll let you work out who scored that one. I don't know if I mentioned this, second in the league and promoted. And what I would consider the most important, we were the only team in the league to take points away from the leaders. And that was at their place, and it was the last game of the season to send us up. Now, due to this being a very different awards do, with most of you sitting at home in your pants, like me, with a beverage or two, I do not want to bore you, so I'm going to go through the season in bullet point fashion, mentioning some highlights I can remember, besides the obvious. So here we go. Game 1, 12-0 win. Luz scored 7 goals. Luz actually passed the ball to another forward. Testa dived, missing an open net. RJ got Dick of the Day because he thought it was a friendly. Half-time orange is brought back. Game 2, Lil Ross scores the first of many own goals this season. Game 3, first of Platty's man of the matches, realising he actually is a defender. 13-1 win. Luz nearly kills the defender with first-time roof of the ball into the net. Game 4, Little Ross plays with damaged ribs after walking into a digger during the week. Ballgate happens. Joe scores a chest-height goal and Platty unleashes his cricket strokes. My favourite quote of the season from a match report, Cy Barrett gliding around the pitch like a 70s porn star. Thanks, Ed Faulkner, for that one. Cy F launches an aerial into the car park. Sorry, Smurf. Something Joe John have been banging on about all season. We got our first haiku match report. Cold winds blow wildly. West Warriors march forward. A Welsh dragon slayed. Thanks, Joe. You need to get Dick of the Day more often. The Silent Assassin returns for Game 6 and scores straight away. Good work, Browner. Cheltenham, or was it Chippenham, Cirencester? Skip forgets where he is during the team talk for Game 9, and the infamous bad hat-trick is scored by King of the Tap-ins, Tom Varney, in which one was carried over the line by the goalkeeper in its pads, and another was pushed at pace of an asthmatic grandad trying to climb a staircase through the legs of the keeper, who I think may have been filling out his tax return at the time. The first game against the eventual league winner, Stroud, where a goal that was clearly over the line but not seen and therefore not given. But Stroud won, 1-0, first blood to them. At the end of the first half of the season, we won 9, lost 2, goal difference of 50, second place. Brilliant. First game of the new year saw Chris the Punisher Knowlson commanding midfield and crushing, literally, anyone in his path. Patch closed his eyes, fell, swept, scored. Game 15, Joe John preferred his other half shirt to his own, and Josh DeWitt decided he didn't like standing up anymore and spent most of the game on the floor. Josh Bambi DeWitt, I believe the match report said. So those were a few highlights of the season. Now at this point, while writing my speech, I'd already had a couple of beers, and therefore I knew if I had written, well, before I'd known it, I'd written a 4-page report on our game against Stroud, which turned out to be the last game of our season, and an important one. I can't read that now, as I'm almost at my time limit, and this is my 12th attempt. It feels like the 1000th attempt at doing this video, and my wife keeps looking over as I'm meant to be cooking the roast. The game against Stroud was one of the proudest moments of my hockey career. I've been playing hockey for 20 years, and I've been lucky enough to win a few leagues and a few cups, but I've never seen a team want a result as much in my life. If you see me at a bar any time over the next 50 years, because I've got that long left playing, contrary to the nickname I have, and I'm talking to someone, it'll be me boring the pants off some unsuspecting player about the glorious day in Stroud. I'll give you a snippet and read the ending. With 10 minutes to go before the final whistle, the score was level, 3-3. The Stroud crowd had swelled and filled most of the sideline by the dugouts. They knew this was a tough match. For 10 minutes, every single player left everything on the pitch. The work rate was phenomenal. A Stroud player didn't get to beat a particular player once. They had to do it twice. And if they got past him twice, they met a Bristol and West teammate and had to do it again, twice. They had to go round and round, back and forth from left wing to right, and every time the Bristol players were hunting and fighting and not letting up. The final whistle went, and the noise was deafening. It was as if we'd won the league. There was only 15 of us, and it sounded like a stadium. It was 18. Cypher's kids were there, and the Two's photographer, official photographer, Joshy, was there to witness. We had done it. The team were up. The obligatory team photo and drenching the skipper was enjoyable, and then for the celebratory team shower. We got to celebrate that night in the clubhouse, and I'm really glad we did, as the following week COVID-19 hit. We all went into lockdown and no final game, but that's okay. We had just got a point off the top of the league. We were up. All in all, the season has gone brilliantly. We were second in the league, as I've mentioned many times, and scored more goals than anyone else and had a lot of fun. Okay, almost at the end. Got a couple of things I've got to do. Twos Player of the Year. So, this award has been voted on by every member of the Twos team and was very tight, with 7 players nominated and this player pipping it by just 2 votes. This player was originally not even in my first round of picks before the season started. He had played threes the previous year, and I decided I wanted to take a look at him in the first friendly. Before the game, I asked him what position he wanted to play. Wherever you want, came the response. No, seriously, I asked. There must be somewhere you like playing. Wherever you want, came the response. Okay, well, we're short centre backs. How about there? Yep, sounds good. Well, not very talkative, but let's go for it. He has a massive reach and he's a good guy. Let's see how he gets on. Well, from that point, we never looked back. He has had an outstanding season at centre back and has also stepped up when asked to cover in midfield. He has a great reach and is very quick for a tall guy. This season's Twos Player of the Year is Charlie Blandy. Well done, Blandy. Right, last thing. I want to say some thank yous. I'd like to thank the umpires for giving up their time, as without them, we wouldn't be able to play hockey. I'd also like to thank the coaches for your hard work and dedication this season. I'd like to thank Joshy for all his fantastic videos and photos. He really caught some great moments. Varney falling over, Lusmore drag flicks, Tester drag flicks, Varney falling over, Nola crushing people, Joe John skinning people, Varney falling over, and many of Little Ross's own goals. And I'd finally want to thank everyone who's played for the Twos this season. You are the reason we've got promoted. Thank you and congratulations. Brilliant. Cheers, everyone. Have a great night.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure to introduce to you your champions of Conference North. Come on, the boys!
AD, keeper of the goal.
Daniel George, aka Stumpy, fullback or centre back when we need a clean sheet.
Ed Ledger, first team skipper.
Gazzo, left back, dancer and entertainer, perfect stopper of a short corner ball unless Tugsy misses.
Jimmy Wilson, slight liability of a centre back.
Mako, Ledger's admin, Team Hawk. Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Tom Bryant, first team attacking midfielder. Number 284, because that's the amount of times I've scored. If you know what I mean.
James Ledger, pillar of strings, hamstrings.
Daniel, midfield. Or centre back once the skillet's been sent off.
Mouse, in the hole.
Bernie, bench warmer.
Charlie, aka Chipper, by far the best tackler in the first team. Best slow tackler, that is.
Christian, aka Ronnie, centre forward for the first team. Can't get into the second team, happily plays for the third team.
I'm Jake Seeger and I play on the back post.
My name's Handles, and that's because I've got the best hands in the league.
Harry the Better Bryant, forward. Bristol and West Player of the Season, 2014, under 15s.
Hello ladies and gentlemen. As you've seen, I'm Ed Ledger, the first team captain. I hope you're all keeping well during these tough times and of course missing hockey as much as I am. As you have picked up from the opening clip, we got promoted as Conference North champions. Not only was this a fantastic achievement for the lads, but a very special achievement for myself, as this has been my third season as captain now, so a promotion has been a long time coming. We welcome 3 new additions to the squad this year. Ben Darlow-Jones, aka Mouse, James Ledger and Dan Palamaki. I hope you have enjoyed your first season with us and there are many more to come. The season couldn't have got off to a harder start, with our first 2 games being away to Swansea and away to Leinster. But after claiming all 6 points on offer, the confidence was sky high. This confidence carried on throughout the season, with us winning 15 games, drawing 1 and losing just 5. Despite a lot of banter from the rest of the lads about some howlers me and Jimmy have committed in defence, we actually had the best defensive record in the league, so I think some people need to get back in their box. In a championship winning season, there has to be a season defining moment. In our case, there were 2. The first of them being a very tight, cagey, physical game versus Swansea Uni. The match was 1-1 until the 69th minute when James Ledger won a short corner. As the forwards were setting up their routine, the final whistle went. And yes, you guessed it, everyone got sent up, even Mackie. The ball got fizzed out to Gaz, who stopped it for Tom Bryant, who proceeded to drag flick the ball top left corner. What followed was Tom doing the Eric Cantona celebration, with the lads jumping on top of him. The scenes were unbelievable, and of course not forgetting the Swansea lads dropping to their knees in disbelief. The second memory has to be our third to last game of the season, where we travelled away to Chippenham. It was one of the nerviest games I've had in a Bristol and West shirt, but the game did finish 5-4 to the mighty Orange. The winning goal came from Harry Bryant. He stood where every captain wants to see his attackers. On the back post, Seagers! With still 10 minutes remaining and having the lead for the 5th time in the match, we did everything in our power to throw the game. Aerials could no longer make it off the ground, tackles were missed, and the ball was given away. And certain individuals saw green incredible Hulk moments, totting up the card count. Certainly a game I'll never forget. I'd like to thank the club for their support we've been given this season, and a dedicated training night, not 1 but 2 excellent coaches in the form of Dan Ott and Tom Bryant, and a full squad of 14 for every match day. I'd also like to say thank you to Shannon, who takes time every week supporting the ones, and also takes great match day photos, which I'm sure you've seen on the Facebook page. A special mention as well for our goalie AD, for taking us to matches in his coach, and of course putting up with our rowdy celebrations on the way home. And a special mention to my wife Amy, for putting up with me on match days and supporting the ones come rain or shine. A tight call on player of the season, with 2 players taking the majority of the votes. A close second was Chipper. Even with the birth of his beautiful little girl Florence, his commitment was still second to none. However, the winner has been a brilliant addition to our midfield. Calm, assured, never rushed, and always seems to have time on the ball. A sign of a class player. The first team player of the season is Mouse. Congratulations, buddy.
Good evening everyone. I'm sure most of you know me by now, but for those who don't, I'm Hannah Bryant, captain of the ladies first team. I knew it was going to be a tough job taking on the captaincy this season, with it being the first one as Bristol and West Jaspers, but what a season it's been. We've played 16 games, won 9, drew 4 and lost 3, with an unbeaten home record at the Fortress Ridings. We scored a whopping 53 goals, with players from all across the pitch making it count and taking their chances. They weren't all pretty, but they do all make a difference. And down at the other end, we only conceded 25, which is a credit to our solid defence and teamwork. Throughout the season, the ladies' first team were able to keep a steady, consistent squad, showing dedication, commitment and the want to succeed. What more could I ask for in a squad? I'd like to thank all of the players for changing plans, showing up to training and putting in the hard graft. There were weeks, of course, we struggled with availability, meaning travelling away to Hereford and such places with the bare minimum. But we played every game with passion, true grit, and this reflected in our results. I'd also like to thank those players that put themselves out to play for another team. We wouldn't have put out 3 teams every week if it wasn't for people like you. The penultimate weekend before lockdown forced an early finish to the season, it was quite possibly our best weekend of hockey that we've had in a long time. We had a double header at Fortress Ridings, beating Yates 6-1 on the Saturday and absolutely wiping the floor with Brett Forson on the Sunday, beating them 8-0. This was made extra special by our number 1 fan supporting us on the sideline for the last time. Rest in peace, Grampy Ken. We ended up finishing second in North Division, 6 points behind the leaders, which we still had to play had the league not ended early. In the ladies' side, in the leagues, only 1 team gets promotion, so we were very, very close. And it was an extremely competitive season and every game was definitely to play for. I'm so proud of the team for finishing in this position, just a sniff away from promotion back into the Premiership where we belong. But we've built a great foundation to take into next season. I'd just like to say thank you to Mish for being my right-hand girl and supporting me through the tears, both happy and sad. Thank you to the coaches, Joe and Josh and Andy. They had a tough job this season trying to motivate the ladies through the wettest training sessions I think we've ever had. It just seemed to rain every single Wednesday. And I'd like to thank everyone else who came along and helped coach us. It was great to see some investment into the ladies this season. And lastly, thank you to those that umpired, and thank you to Alan for organising this and making it very easy for us all. Ladies First Team Player of the Year. We have had an incredible season. The whole team have been committed to achieving the result of finishing second in the league, but there was a clear winner for this award. She has been a committed member of the team and has only missed 1 game, putting herself out to travel to the likes of Brett Forton and Hereford. This person has been an absolute key player in our success this season. She is a true team player covering the whole pitch, whether it's in the defensive D, sticking tight on her player, or in the attacking D with her shots at goal sending defenders ducking for cover. She supports the team by making herself available for every pass and is selfless in her play. She links up well with everyone and works hard to support the play when it breaks down. She has the ability to turn players inside out and burns them to the back line, and she is an unstoppable force on the right hand side of the pitch. With speed and fitness being high on her list of attributes, maths unfortunately is not a strength, but with her teammates' support, she's improving on those fractions. The award for First Team Player of the Season goes to Tony Clothier. Well done, mate.
This award is going to someone who I've coached now for a number of seasons. I've watched them grow significantly in both skill and confidence, so much so that pre-lockdown they're actually helping us deliver the coaching sessions to their peers on a Monday night, and they've also been participating in the senior games. So without further ado, Badger Player of the Season is awarded to Rohan. Congratulations, buddy. Well done.
In the under-12 category, the coaches and helpers had various players put forward for different reasons. One name kept cropping up more than others. This person showed a real appetite to train and an eagerness to learn, with a strength and a reading of a game well above her age. You now know that she's a girl. So, the Player of the Year in the Under-12 category is Abby Bryan. Well done, Abby. Keep it up.
A few players in contention for Under-16 Player of the Year, and they've all graced the threes with their ability this season. Hobbs Galton for his mesmerising skills in central midfield, Cian Goodwin for his energy and ability to glide past people in midfield, and Colin McManaman for his defensive talent and his desire to get forward. However, the person polling the most votes probably did so for his goal scoring exploits. I've already described one of 3 spectacular goals. The second was an equally good first-time volley from a short corner, which his dad, who was umpiring, considered disallowing for a technicality. Good decision not to, Mark. And the third was a reverse that was still rising as it hit the roof of the net. Under-16 Player of the Year is Luke Berry.
Now we're on to the Under-21s Player of the Year, and I'm lucky enough that this person is in my team. And again, they've been a fabulous pinnacle role in the team all season and improved immensely. So if everyone could raise their glasses and give a fabulous round of applause to Antonia! Well done for Under-21s Player of the Year. Awesome!
As well as the youngsters already mentioned for the Under-16 award, also in contention for the Under-21 Player of the Year was Reece French, a truly talented striker who has already made appearances for the Ones. However, the person polling the most votes is a natural central midfielder, although he thinks he's a striker, with teams usually doubling and tripling up on him. Let alone take the ball off him, at training I can't even get close enough to foul him, and I have tried. Under-21 Player of the Year is Hobbs Galton.
So one of the best parts about being club captain was being a first point of contact for all the new players, meeting at training, getting to know you and your hockey history, as it were. So Newcomer of the Year award has been really, really tough to decide on. You've all really shown commitment to training and to matches and thrown yourself into the social side. It's been great. So as I say, very tough decision, but it's gone to a player who's shown great improvement, really good determination, and also organised Secret Santa the Thirds and had 14-hour days at work on Wednesday so she could come to training. So Nat Turner, this is to you. May I get to play more games of hockey with you, hearing your cries of determination and sometimes just cries for running. And this is to all you wasps. May we have a great season next year. I can't wait. Cheers!
This goes to someone who has made a real impression and has made a massive contribution to the club in their first season with us. Over the years, it's been won by many of the club's greats, including Rob Ledger, our club captain, Andy McKay, our favourite Brummie, Rob Hazelwood, the beer monster, Dan George, aka Stumpy, John Wilson, aka Jimmy, and even I managed to pick up the award back in 2012, contributing massively to the men's 7th 11 push for mid-table. But this year, the award has gone to someone who is right at the top of the club. In his first season with us, he's joined the men's first team. He has helped us not only to push for promotion, but also to go up as champions. Despite the Friday night beers that he was quite frequently a fan of, he was always a reliable and safe pair of hands in the centre of midfield, keeping a calm head when those around him might be diving into tackles, head first, double feet first, whatever it may be, but always managing to save a little bit of encouragement for his teammates as well. If you got a superb from him halfway through the game, you knew you were doing it well. So this year's winner is going to be Ben Darlow-Jones. Congrats, Ben.
Hello. As club coach, I've been asked to present this next award, which is for the men's most improved player of the year.
This particular person has gone from strength to strength this year and has really come out of his shell. He's become a key asset to his team and been able to adapt and play across various positions, scoring goals and clearing them off the line, which has ultimately demonstrated an improved understanding of his tactics and roles. So this award goes to the self-proclaimed Gypsy King of the hockey scene, is Tom Seeger. Well done.
This was a hotly contested award with 53 goals being scored in the first team alone, 16 in the second team and 12 in the thirds. There was one goal that separated the first place to the two joint runners-up, just to put into perspective how tight it was this season. This player has a prolific presence in front of goal. One-on-one with the goalkeeper, we would bet on her every single time. Her movement up front is second to none, and when she joins up with the rest of the team, it's magic. This player has worked hard to get herself back into the first after having a little break last season, and now with a little person to consider, she has managed to juggle motherhood with training and playing games. She has come back with more fire in her belly, and I am pleased to announce that this year's ladies' top goal scorer is Isabel Hancock. Well done, Izzy.
We all know that hockey is a team game, a group of dedicated, hard-working individuals that come together to work as one to get a small plastic ball into the back of a net. But it takes an individual to have that final touch, to be at the end of all that hard work put in by so many teammates, to make that score tick over by another goal. This individual has done a lot more than just be the final person to touch that ball, as it flies into the back of the net. This individual scored from the top of the D, from the back post, has scored with 4 other players in front of him. He has put opposition players on their bums with his skills, rifled shots first time into the roof of the net, terrifying opposition players as well as his own. He even passed it once this season, set up a fellow forward for them to score. I have been very lucky and very proud to have had this player in my team all season. It is my privilege to present the Top Goal Scorer Award to Dan Lusmore for scoring 43 goals for the mighty Bristol and West second 11 this season. Good work, Dan.
Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well, looking after yourselves during lockdown. Gutted that we can't all be there together to celebrate this evening, but hopefully this is the next best thing and we will certainly all have a drink together when it's possible to do so. So without further ado, I'm going to present to you the Club Woman of the Year award. So this goes to somebody that has given up a lot of their time throughout the year. They've gone above and beyond their role in their current role. This person in particular has taken on the role of captain this year for one of the ladies' teams. She's also played really big involvement in bringing on the Vixens. She's gone to lots of the junior trainings and given up a lot of their time going to matches and really bringing on the players. And I know the juniors and their families have really appreciated her support. She's been a big part in all social events, attending them and making sure fundraising is going well for the club. And she's also played a big part in making sure indoors happened and playing in those games. So if you haven't guessed it by now, drum roll. Award for Club Woman this year, 2020, goes to Hannah Bryant. Yay! Well done, Han.
I'm so pleased that so many people voted for this person. He was certainly my choice, yeah, absolutely chuffed. Going back to those almost imaginable heady days of last summer, when people were jetting off to go to Spain, Florida, you know, who name it, go on holiday. No one was going to Bournemouth, but this man was sat during that time in a darkened room. And the reason he was sat in a darkened room was that he was recreating the club website for us, which was so crucial to do at the time of the merger last year. And when he wasn't sat in a darkened room, he was studying for his next coaching qualification. Over the coming season, he took on the demanding task of coaching the women's section, in that he was utterly dedicated to that task, and I know it meant a huge amount of him to make a success of that. I think he did that. He certainly listened to feedback, and he adapted the sessions as required. I can attest, having assisted him, that each session was meticulously planned. Also, I don't remember him ever not being there. He attended every session as far as I can recall, and he was never late. I think he once forgot the bibs. I think that was about it. Now, if that's not total dedication, I don't know what is. And finally, I think he had a pretty decent season on the pitch as well. He played for the Twos and obviously helped them gain their promotion. So it's a huge pleasure to be able to award the Clubman of the Year, hugely deserved, to Mr. Joe John. Congratulations. Time for one more popper.